which is one of the boxes on Hack the Box that covers Active Directory, Kerber roasting. Let me toggle the display right there so you can see what I'm talking about. It's a relatively easy box, but it's very basic in showing you that after you get access or some kind of access into a Windows box during a hack, it shows you how to enumerate using the basic Windows net commands and that kind of thing. So it's a good Windows enumeration refresher. So here I'm going to go ahead and switch over my screen here, and then from here just go into Hack the Box. And there, okay, so I'm VP'd in. You can see this terminal up here. Let me pull that up some way, good old Linux. And then for the Hack the Box machine, I haven't spawned yet, so I'm going to go ahead and spawn this and start up a machine so we get an IP address. One of the first things you got to remember when you do one of these Hack the Box machines, especially a Windows machine, is to go in right away, and I'll show you here in a minute as soon as we can get this spawned. It might require me to log in again. Oh, it gave me an IP. Okay, so that's our IP. Interesting, because I think that's the same IP I got the other day when I was working on this system. So let's double check that right away. Never had that happen. And couldn't be so lucky. So I'm going to copy this IP address. And there it goes. It copies automatically. And pop down into here. And as you can see, I've already ran an Nmap script on this box. But actually going back, one of the first things you really want to do when you set up for one of these attacks on one of these boxes, especially on Windows, and especially you're going after Active Directory, you really want to edit your etc. host file. So bring that up. Sorry, it's nano. Kind of nervous actually. I've never done a live hacking. So up here, no, it looks like it is the same IP for HTTP local. It was, okay. So it's not the same as my notes though. Oh, that makes sense because I wrote my notes long before that. So that's another thing I want to mention. I keep on mentioning my notes. So in Hack the Box, when I go through these machines, every time I go through each machine, I document the steps that I did. And there's a very important purpose for that, because when you go back and you look at a machine again like this, I've done this machine 3 different ways. And one of the best things to have if you think, okay, well, instead of PowerShell, let's try this Bloodhound tool or something like that, to get that far into the machine so you could actually try a new technique on it is really good. The other side is, though, with Hack the Box, often you have write-ups, or walkthroughs, and that can help you out, and you can lean on those a little bit, but it's best to gain your own style. And when you're pen testing professionally anyways, most of the time you need to document your work, and it's really important to do that. So let's go over here. So I wanted to mention, I'm going to go on to the next thing. So the next thing is enumeration. So when we go through a machine and we run an Nmap, it's really important on how we run an Nmap, and I want to show an example of that. So right here, I ran this Nmap, and this is where I got stuck the first time I did the machine, was I ran Nmap without this -A option. And running it without the -A option did not give me, when I just used a -O option, it did not give me some of the ports that were open and the services that were running. And most specifically was because this is when you do the escalation toward the end of the hack, you're actually relying on port 59. I think it's 5985 in order to run WinRM and get back into the box as sys administrator. So we'll come up on that later. So that's the Nmap. I've already got the scan there. And then this is the Nmap command up here that I use. Basically, minus SV, minus SC, minus A, minus T4. And then I did an output to an nmap.txt file, but I did a no ping scan. So it just goes right through for ports 1 through 10,000. And that's all TCP. I didn't look at UDP. But anyways, I profited. There's a bunch of ports open. So where we go from there basically is, we kind of look at, we know that we've got RPC running, and we want to maybe just start to dig around. So speaking of dig, so one of the first things we can look at, and yeah, it is quite nice because some of my notes are actually written in the old IP address, which is the exact same IP address that's showing up here. So it's great. So it's like a copy and paste now. So we just basically dig into this htb.local domain, and we can see that we can't do a domain transfer. We tried to do a domain transfer flat out there. But we could see what we can get off of RPC client and see if we can connect anonymously. So we basically go in there and we put in this command, which is basically to run RPC client against the target machine and see if we can log in with an anonymous username, and boom, it let us log in with an anonymous username. So for those of you looking at defense, this is the offense that you need to know. You really shouldn't have things logged or have your RPC server set up so they be logged in anonymously over the net. So we can go immediately right here and enumerate the domain users. And will there be profit? There is. There's extreme profit here. Look at this. So what we have here is we have a couple of, we have the administrator, we have all this, and then looks like mailbox and service accounts and stuff like that in there. And then we have some real user accounts down here. And that's quite interesting. And we're going to find, and I'm just going to throw this out there because I've already gone through this box, is that the service alfresco is actually going to be our target account. And in the name of time, I'm going to go right into that. But before we move on, while you're in RPC, you enum users. Now you can enumerate the groups. Enum DOM groups. And that shows all the groups on the target box. And I've already, this kind of thing I would copy and paste into notes as I went. But I'm not doing it this time just because I am going through the, I've already got my notes. So next thing is does this cover a single domain, or are there multiple domains hosted off of here? And we can see that it's only a single domain, HTB. And then another thing to look at would probably be so now we know what the domain is. So we queried the domain info. And that gives us a very clear outline of what the domain, basically the server role is, primary domain controller. That's what that PDC stands for. There's 105 users on it. And it's the domain name is HTB. So that is pretty much like what we could get out of anonymous RPC. We could probably look at the RPC version and see if we can get in that way and that kind of thing. And those are all things that I've done already, so I'm not going to necessarily do here. But what I will do is basically cover up our Nmap there and go over to the other screen here. And let's look at LDAP, and let's use the tools on Kali to look at the LDAP server that's running on here. Boy, this is quite nice to have the same domain, or the same domain IP spin up as what I'm trying to introduce here. Thank you, Hack the Box. So we run in, and here we run LDAP search we -h for the host, and then we want to look at the naming context, and we get a little information out of there. But what that also leads us to, it shows HTTP local and all that. But we have a list of good users. We've enumerated a list of good users over on this side. We know the domain. Let's look at basically Kerber roasting the thing and trying to get a little more information out of it. And one of the ways to do that is basically to go in and run a script that's available. It's a Python script. Let's see, I'm going to try this. This is, I've got to, yeah, so it's the same domain name. And the good thing about this script is it goes by domain name. It doesn't, you don't have to put in an IP or anything on it. So I'm attacking this by the box name instead of the IP. That's good. So basically I've got a list of users that I've created off of what I've enumerated over here on the right, and it's in a text file called domusers.txt. Let's open up another new tab. So I've got a domusers.txt file right there. So basically against that, and it's get npusers.py. This is on GitHub. You can get it out there. So basically I go through that. Oh. That's interesting. Anything that will go wrong, will go wrong. So that, it's in there. So the script is in there. Let me try it again. Python 3. Oh, here. That's interesting. My disk connection is failing. I might have to stop the stream and start all over again, but actually I'm not going to. Let's do this again. Hey man, got to keep on trying. The offset. So let's try that again. Get NP users. And that works. Okay. Quick recovery. Quick recovery. So, whoa, boom. Okay. So like I said, when we initially enumerated, as I said that service alfresco account would start to mean something to us. And this is where it starts to mean something to us. It comes back. We get a hash from that, basically by Kerber roasting and getting the hash on that. So what we want to do is we want to crack that hash. And we basically run John against the hash file. And I think I've already got it there. I don't know how long this will take. It might be right away. Actually, so there might not be a hash file in there. Users, no, there isn't. But anyways, that's the John command that you run. Run rocku against it. And is service alfresco? Oh, it is in there. Interesting. Try it one more time. Oh, it did. So, yeah, it did. Actually, it's John. It's already because I ran John. But this is the command that you would run, and the password that comes out of it is basically it's basically service with a 3 is the password. So we have that. So basically we run in. So what we want to do is we want to do an SMB map and look at the shares, because now we have a credential. So if we run Samba map against that server, that IP address, it'll give us a list of the shares that are available on that server. And by doing that, we come up with a lot of loot. It pops up with I don't know, 4 or 5, 6 shares. It takes a little bit. So here it shows all the shares that are available. Even the C drive is accessible. So we look at that and we think, woohoo! So now that we know we've got a regular user that can access a lot of stuff on the machine, the next thing to do would be to go ahead and pull up Evil WinRM. So Evil WinRM is basically I think it's Ruby. It's a Ruby tool that's readily available on GitHub. And what it does is when hacking Windows machines, it gives a really nice command prompt and simple commands like upload and download. And I mean, it's just a dream when it comes to breaking into Windows machines. So here we're going to run in the Service Alfresco account with service as a 3, which by the way is super weak password. I wonder why John cracked it so quick. And that is not good. Really? I'm getting a lot of maybe this disk access. That's interesting. Maybe my disk is dying. Doesn't matter. Just keep on roaring. Mount it there. I don't know why that would work that way, but anyways, we're here. And back on the train, Evil WinRM to get us into the target machine. This takes a second or two to pop up. And here we are. You can see that I have a Windows command prompt here. It has this Windows Evil WinRM. I think that's for PowerShell. I'm not sure if it's running in PowerShell right now. But let's move on. So that gives us a shell of a normal user, run whoami or GUID or whatever it is. So we can see that we're on HTTP domain with SVC Alfresco. So I guess the next thing to do is probably look at what we can do to escalate. And one of the things that we could do to escalate is upload Sharphound. So let's see, do I have it available really? What's going on there? So ls, so what if my disk is full? Wow, this is serious. I can't seem to. Sorry about this. Really? Maybe it's because video is writing to the disk. Do a click now. Okay. So we do have Sharphound exe in the folder there. So from here we can just say upload. So this is one of the beautiful things about Evil WinRM is we just say Sharphound .exe, and that failed. It's unfortunate. And it also does like command repeat and that kind of thing. So That's unfortunate. So I'm having some issues here, but let's do Evil WinRM again. So let me go back up here and get a shell here and see if that works. And I will just do that. Copy. Paste. Get another shell. And you see it shows the upload progress indicator right there. That's working fine. Just keep our fingers crossed so I can get through this. For the most part, at the very least, I want to get the Sharphound Bloodhound part out of the way. I will not show you how to set up Bloodhound on the Kali Linux, but I will show you the interface and show you how it works, because it's incredibly useful for finding. After running Sharphound on a Windows box, it's extremely helpful for finding vulnerabilities that are related to Active Directory on the target Windows box. So it was supposed to save a file. So let's see. Okay, so let's run Sharphound. And basically, to run Sharphound, it's just as easy as sharp. So it's going to run and misspelled. So it's going to run, it's going to create a massive schema file that we're going to take back, download. So right here, it shows this schema file right here. We want to download this this bin file. Or no, I'm sorry, the bloodhound.zip file. The bin file is for a different reason. So we take that and we basically, while we're in Evil WinRM, so I just copied that long file name. I'm not going to type all that out. And we just take that and we pop that into our forest directory. We're going to download that right now. And then after that, we're going to basically take that file and plop it in, just drop it into Sharp Bloodhound itself that I have running up here anyways. So let's basically we got Neo4j running. So what I'm going to do is go over to another screen here. Let's try and get this guy running. So I'm going to say exit. Yeah, see, so sudo. I guess it has something to do with the video getting recorded in the same drive. So yeah, it's funny. So if I go back here though, and then I do, that works. Yeah, interesting. So what I'm going to do is basically go back here and run Bloodhound. And Bloodhound pops up. And we log in here. And then basically this has got a node open. But what I want to do is I want to import a graph. And actually the best way that I did the last time was just to drop it onto there. Here we go. And this is so it goes through this. And what this graph will show is is a couple of relationships, and it will lead us to basically a vulnerability that's within within the box, and it will actually tell us how to exploit the vulnerability, which is great. So finished, we're done. So if we go in and yeah, so what we see with Service Alfresco is that they have I'm instead of going deep into Bloodhound right here, I'm going to basically show you that that's the way to do it, but I'm not going to go really deep into it, but that's your next step. And the what you're going to find through Bloodhound analysis is that basically this Service Alfresco account has write DACL capability to the HTB local domain, and you can use this to escalate privileges. And one of the next steps that we would do with that write DACL capability is to basically upload a PowerShell script called PowerView, which would give us the ability to basically add a user and create our own user. So what we're going to do is basically upload this PowerView script. Let's see, I ran Bloodhound from there, so I'm going to go ahead and stop it. And then, so we have this PowerView script right here, and I'm just going to go in here where we already have thing and upload PowerView.ps1, and again, really. So it's nice to have that WinRM access, except when your disk keeps on failing on you. So I might cut this one a little short in the interest of saving time, but that's well on your way. You're well on doing privilege access or privilege escalation in the box. You've already got access through Service Alfresco. I'm going to try one more time to connect to this on EvilRM and see if we can upload PowerView and get just a little further before I stop this intro. So yeah, it looks like it's going to take that upload. And once we get up and running with PowerView, it will basically give us a it'll give us a chance to create a user within here. I'm trying to find my directions on the notes, but basically give us a chance to set up our own user and get the flag. So with bear with me here, I can't find it. Here we go. So yeah, so if we just run PowerView, it gives us a chance to here, let's just run it. So if we want to run it so that we can put commands into it. So we dot space and then we dot the command as we run it. That way it makes it interactive. So with PowerView right here, and we have access to that now, we can basically add actually just use net user, sorry, I'm jumping ahead, say hacker, and then hacker 1 2 3. Actually, let's make it 5 4 3 2 1. Hacker 5 4 3 2 1, and then just say add. So it's just a regular net user command that comes up. So basically, we're there. We added a user unfettered. So now we want to add that hacker to the group. And this in Bloodhound, when you drill down in Bloodhound, you spend the time to get in there, it will tell you about what group it needs to be in and all of that. And that's one of the things I wanted to show, but we don't have enough time to dive into. And if you're interested in more about Bloodhound, I've got a couple of resources, because I really haven't used it that much. And when I did this I guess about a month ago, was when I was really first exposed to Bloodhound. So it basically added our user now. Actually, no, I messed up. We should say add and then hacker. So it added hacker to the, so if we want to check that and see which members, so we want to say net group, and then basically, yeah, not add hacker, and then show us what's in there. So before members there were no members, and then now we have members, which is hacker, which is our member. And there we are. So we basically have hacker in there with that privilege. So what we want to do, though, within EvilRM is basically reset the security password attributes. And the way that we do that is basically to run sec pass, or create a variable sec password, put that string against it, and actually we're hacker 54321, and we run that, so that we have a variable, and then against that we need to also create a cred variable that shows the new object. Or declares a new object. We put all of this together, and this is another reason why you take notes, because when I did this the first time I actually did it this way. I just didn't have the Bloodhound part. I had to enumerate with all PowerShell scripts. But when you get to this part, this is like one of the reasons why you do notes, because there was, behind these particular notes, for me anyways, there was a bit of Stack Exchange and some Google search involved. Oh no, actually I didn't finish this command appropriately. I might have to relog in. No. Yeah. Okay. So I didn't finish that command. There was a lot in there. Basically all of that. And that's what I get for copying and pasting, because if I wasn't doing that, I probably wouldn't have made that mistake. So, and there's one last closing thing here. There we go. And then, yeah. So what we want to do after that is we have a target identity. We want to basically put all of this together. And the way to put all of this together is with the add domain object ACL command. You PowerShellers out there would know exactly what that is, but that's basically to add a domain object or add hacker to the domain, and give them all of these rights and use those credentials that we put in the cred variable earlier. So the next thing is basically to dump like all of the permissions from the server. Now that we have a user with escalated privileges, we have I mean, we're ready to go. Let me do this one more time. It's because I can't access two different terminals. I don't know what this is. It hardly ever happens, but get to the bottom of it later. finish this off. So what we have here, so I do have access. So there's a, it's called secrets dump Python script. So what we want to do here is basically Python 3 secrets. It's in there, and it's got the same, although I changed the hacker password. And at the same one. So what this is going to do is just basically going to dump all of the credentials and the hash, the hash values for right there. You see it at the top. It's administrator. That's what we want. And to get in as administrator, we pretty much need the last half of this, and it's just pumping them out. And that is why people, you must lock down Active Directory. So to finish it off, I'm basically going to go in and take this box. So one of the things I just want to back up. So we got svc-alfresco. We got in there. Remember when you're on Hack the Box to go to the desktop directory and open up the user.txt file and put in your hash here. I've already put mine in. I put that in a while back, see 2 years ago. Put in your hash in there so you get credit for it on Hack the Box. That's like one of the reasons. That's the gamification part of it. So don't forget to do that. And then for this, I'll show you. I'll actually do that so that we don't hear. That was not good. Let's see. Let's copy from here. So I'm going to go in and I'll show you how to get the root, the users dot. Basically do it a quick way, because sometimes in Hack the Box you get unstable root shells and you just got to do it really quick. And it's nice to know that you need the type command and where to go. So here I'm logging in as administrator, and if I say type desktop, and all of the flags are root.txt, I think is what it is, and it'll show the hash right there. And you copy that, and then you paste that in over here as the system-owned flag. So I hope that was a good refresher or a good walkthrough. I apologize that I couldn't spend a lot more time in Bloodhound. I'm thinking of doing a separate session on Bloodhound alone. And now that I've got a couple of files, I might do like a 10-minute session, follow-up session on Bloodhound, just to go through that and spend a little more time. I'm trying with these videos, with these walkthroughs, and with some of the podcasts, to keep everything down to like a 10 or a 20, maximum 30-minute session, unless of course we have interviews or somewhat of a talk show stand-up format. Thank you for joining me today. It was nice walking you through this. I hope I didn't stutter too much, and I wish I was a better announcer, but I think I'm getting better at it. Thank you much. Take care.